On August 25th, I go pick up my son around 1 p.m. I'm frustrated, I'm tired, and I'm annoyed at his mom as I'm driving to go pick him up. As I get to her house to go pick him up, she's pretty silent. I'm pretty silent. It's a lot of turmoil internally going on between me and his mom. My son is dressed up. He's ready to have fun with me for the weekend. As she's putting clothes on my son, she asked me if I can watch him in December. This is August. I said, for what? She told me that she was going out of town with her new boyfriend. And we got into an argument about that. Not at the fact that she has a new boyfriend, but it's a lot of deeper stuff that my respect to her, I'm not going to get into and expose it publicly or say it publicly. But we get into an argument over that. And it basically came down to not handling business on her side and priorities. So as I get in the car, I'm rattled, I'm upset, I'm angry, and I'm just disappointed overall. So I called one of me and her good mutual friends. And he's pretty big on YouTube, but I'm not going to say his name. And I called him and I said, man, bro, me and my child's mom, I'm just going to say KB for short. Me and KB just got into an argument and it didn't end pretty well. And it was just a verbal argument, but it didn't end good at all. I kind of has like some regret in me. You know what I mean? And he's sitting there on the phone and he said, well, why do you regret it? And I was like, well, I said some things that shouldn't have been said verbally. And his response to that was like, well, at times, bro, people just need to hear the harsh truth and harsh reality. And I said, yeah, you're right. I was by his house to get me and my son Sonic, and he wasn't at the crib. So I head to my house. By this time, it's around 3 p.m. Me and my son is on the couch. He knocked out, and my son always puts me to sleep because when he be sleeping, he sleeps so good, And I fell asleep too, right there with him. Next thing you know, I get this pounding at the door. And I'm thinking like, it's my landlord tripping or something, so I go back to sleep. And then it's again. It like rattled me and my son. So I wake up and I look and it's 7 police in the front of my house. And I said, what's going on? I pay my taxes, you know what I mean? They asked my name. And long story short, I get arrested in front of my son. My son is crying. My son is going through a traumatic experience of seeing his dad, a black man on top of that, get arrested. One thing that my grandfather always told me was that you can only control the controllables. I can't control if a man puts handcuffs on me. I'm not going to resist it. I'm too old for that. I just got to swallow that pill for what it is. But I was more so worried about my son's experience of seeing that and going through that. And I never wanted that for him. But my child's mom got so mad over that verbal situation that the cops got called. And that led to a whole entire year of running back and forth to the courthouse, of me barely seeing my son for a whole entire year. I've only seen my son 4 or 5 times from last August to this August. Now, many people in my situation will break mentally, but this is unfortunate from what I'm about to say, but I've been through more traumatic experiences, even being away from my own child in my life. So my heart is pretty purple on the things that I can endure, and my mental is stronger than a lot of people that you might ever even come across. Now, does it break me that my son is getting older and I'm not seeing him? Me and his mom have a no contact order and all this stuff. Of course, it's painful. It hurts. But one thing that I did to make sure that me and my son was connected was I wrote to my son every single, not day, but almost like every other day. Sometimes probably, a few times throughout the week. And I made a personal email for him. I made sure that I wrote very sincere, truthful messages, and these were like laws and lessons. Now, obviously my son is only 4 years old, right? He's a kid. Hey, it's loud out there. He's a kid. But my whole thing is when he gets older and when he goes through certain experiences and when he has certain resistance and things like that in life, it's very important for him and for me to give him lessons and laws on what to do and what not to do. So I wanted to share something that is very sincere, it's very sacred, and it's something that I really wanted to share from the bottom of my heart and share it publicly. But this is one of the lessons that, I gave to my son. And like I said, I'm not giving this to my son at 18 or 24 when he's still still young. Like, I want to give it to him when he's literally on that verge of like becoming a boy to a man. And that every dude that's at different ages. I know some people that officially became a man at 40, and I know some men that officially became men at 16. So when I feel like internally, like my son has transitioned over from a boy to a man, that's when I'm going to give this to him. And before I get into this law that I wrote for my son, the reason why I'm sharing it, because I think that a lot of people need to hear this message. And I think a lot of people can take this and become more with their life. And when I was sitting in that jail cell, for 24 hours and seeing my son go through that experience, I could have either been more reactive or I could have just responded and just stayed grounded. And it's all about rewriting your script. It's all about becoming more. And in life, bullshit is going to happen. And you got to have enough mental capacity to make sure that you override and overflow through everything that gets thrown at you in life. And that's why I'm sharing this message with you guys. And I hope you guys take this in, because it's coming from the bottom of my heart. And this is something that I will only share to my son. Obviously, I have hundreds of lessons within the past year already that I have written for him. But this is probably one of the most important ones that everybody needs to hear all around the world. So let me get into it. So this is law number 4 that I wrote, and it's called Rewrite Your Script. And I said, dear son, in life, your choices will determine if you become a loser or a winner. It is not your circumstances. I think about this often when it comes to me as your father. Historically, I should have been set up to lose in life. I come from a very chaotic background. I've been molested as a child. I've been arrested. I've been in between 2 parents who absolutely hate each other. One parent abandons me and thinks that they're owed the world. Another parent verbally abuses me and still talks to me like I'm a 12-year-old kid. Living in unstable environments, back and forth across the country, going to 7 different elementary schools by 5th grade. All of my grades from the 4th grade to high school were D's and F's. Getting suspended over 50 times from 4th grade to senior year. Being a 5th year senior, going to jail on top of that my senior year, plus more. I would tell you one day in person, but it was an overall shit show, son. But one thing that always kept my head above water was my mindset. But the only thing that was holding me back was the lowest version of myself. The kid who wasn't developed, not self-mastered anything, lived a life of pure ignorance, and a person who was afraid to really live to their potential, which was led to be a byproduct of a person who was angry, emotional, and making choices on how I felt in the moment, which led to more of a non-disciplined and inconsistent man. Until one day, enough was enough. Like I said at the beginning of this, son, in life, your choices will determine if you become a loser or a winner, not your circumstances. You probably have people all around you right now who are attached to all kinds of labels. Example, I'm depressed, I have anxiety, I have ADD, I have ADHD. When the truth is 99% of anxiety and depression is self-manufactured. You probably heard from a doctor or a family member, you are depressed or you have ADHD and all this other jargon. When the reality is the medical industry and these doctors want to feed into the opposition's desires, which is to keep you dumb, broke, dependent, not have a sense of self, and dependent on the system. Rarely anyone around you wants you to step up into your courage, strength, masculinity, because if you did, you would become a very dangerous human being. You will no longer be controlled and manipulated. You will officially become 100% free thinking, happy, fulfilled, and a purpose-driven man. One thing I will never want for you, son, is settling. Settling breeds mediocrity, and that breeds a man who doesn't stand a chance. But when you are a purpose-driven man, you rarely see a depressed man. I want to say that one more time. When you are a purpose-driven man, you rarely see a depressed man. Why, you are probably asking? Because it is a man's duty reaching his fullest potential and purpose. There is no room, no time, nor space for the devil to play. And the devil will show up in many ways, son, as shame, guilt, apathy, depressed, sad, anxiety, hopelessness, and that is a fact. And son, if you are feeling any of those, it is simply because you are ignoring your higher calling. You know you are meant for more, which is why many around you are still and will remain suffering. Because they are lazy, and the universe always punishes the lazy. The universe knows when you're faking it and making a half-hearted attempt, so it delivers pain. So the universe will work with you to reach your desired goal, but at the same time, it will make sure it is not an easy ride for you either. It will make you feel your laziness, complacentness, inconsistency to that goal in which you desire. So my question to you is, how long can you stay faithful to the unseen reality? My other question is, why should I or anyone else who has stayed loyal and committed for 8+ 10 years and have gone through all kinds of trauma, going into massive debt, betting on myself so you have a better life, becoming a first generational millionaire, going from hell myself from a nobody to a somebody to bring actual happiness and bliss to myself and upon to you. Why would I have any respect for someone who doesn't have enough respect for themselves to put in that type of effort to get the desired outcome like I did? I wouldn't respect you, nor the universe wouldn't respect you. It will only respect you when you have put in the time and the work. Now, does this mean that you're going to be happy your entire life? Hell no. I don't know of a person who is happy all the time. It is okay to feel resistance. It is okay to feel sad. It is okay to be burnt out from time to time. It is even okay to feel some type of level of stress and anxiety, but it is not okay to live there. I want to say that one more time. It is okay to feel resistance, feel sad, be burnt out from time to time. It is okay to feel some level of stress and anxiety, but it is not okay to live there. By diagnosing yourself and manifesting it further to now it has become a part of your identity. It is absolutely not acceptable. And then on top of that, looking for outside evidence in the world that you have these quote unquote labels of anxiety and depression. Now, son, if you have any of those labels, it is simply because you are currently incongruent with the man that you know that you are supposed to be. What has led your consciousness knocking to your door in the form of sadness and being lonely, depression and anxiety, and it's knocking on your door saying, dude, I know you're meant for fucking more. So with that being said, son, I know you can become the man who can make the impact, the influence, and the income, but there is work that needs to be done. So don't be like the 99% who chooses pleasure and desire over purpose and duty. And with all that being said, son, I love you. Go make the history books. You're a legend. Love, Dad. Now, there's very more sacred messages, but the reason why I wanted to make that message and make it publicly and share my sincere truth and my sincerity to my own child, because that message is just deeper than me talking to my son. I think everybody in the world needs to hear that. There's a lot of people out there that are attached to all kinds of labels. There's a lot of people out there that are letting their past just still resonate with them in the current reality. So their current identity hasn't yet adapted to become more. And, you know, at the time where a lot of things wasn't going my way with my brand, with my relationship with my child's mother, and it led me into a jail cell off of a verbal argument. There's two ways I could have went. You know, it's either I could have went the way of just sitting in the corner like a little bitch, like a little Jeffrey, and just saying, poor me, look at my circumstances. Or I could have looked at it from a 30,000 foot lens on what I did right, what I did wrong, what was said, what shouldn't have been said, and really just adapted and not just sit there and just flapping my arms and just waiting to die in the waters. So I'm not trying to talk your ear off on this video. You know what I mean? I know I've been going at it for a long time. I'm very transparent. You know, I really don't give a fuck on what people think about me. You know, I'm grown. This is life. You know, I've been through shit, you know, and I'm just telling my story. This goes deeper than just building a clothing brand. You know, this is what I actually go through, what I've actually went through as a brand owner. I'm putting out my whole entire life out there. It's deeper than just giving somebody the secret hacks or how to scale up their brand. You know, it's more to life than just running a brand. You're going to go through bullshit running a brand. It's a lot of unlearning, relearning. It's a lot of resistance. You know, it's a lot of becoming more. It's a lot of adapting. You know, it's a lot of old people holding you back. It's a lot of old people still looking at you in that old current identity that you once had. So it's a lot of things that you got to overcome besides just throwing a t-shirt on TikTok and hoping and praying that you go to $10,000. So with that being said, I'm going to end the video like this. Always remember to divorce from the result and embrace the craft. The more you embrace the craft, the result will start chasing you. And love is love. Your boy is out.